The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Captain Sadler, could you give us your assessment of how you feel about the Navy's current shipbuilding evolution with embracing emerging technologies of smaller, relatively less expensive, perhaps expendable autonomous vessels, and what role they should play in the Navy's future, including our engagements ongoing with China below the threshold of war, or should that threshold be crossed and we're in open conflict with China, what role would smaller, less expensive, expendable autonomous vessels play, and should the Navy embrace that emerging technology?
I will try to be as short as I possibly can and narrowly focused. First is an example of success, Task Force 59, the Fifth Fleet in the Persian Gulf, where they used unmanned vessels very rapidly by using some very unconventional approaches in procurement and also partnering with other countries. That's being in the process of being replicated in Fourth Fleet, which is Southern Command, which is a lot of these illicit trade routes that I'm talking about. That's inside their area of responsibility. That needs to happen now, and it should be supported. And it's going to rely on small unmanned vessels as sensors, like sail drone, but also even aircraft drones as well. They need something to operate sustained way off out at sea, like a mothership. In the Pacific, now you've got Pacific Fleet that also stood up in the last couple of years a development squadron of pairing a manned ship, the Zumwalt-class destroyer, with large and medium unmanned vessels. That has a very high-end operational, but again, if you don't have that upper level control, the Chinese are going to be able to push that red line further and further north and get away with more and more. So you have to get those unmanned vessels out into the Pacific. You need to use them as sensors and also as a backstop, as a weapons platform, should things go higher.
I generally agree with your assessment. It's become very clear that the expense of large, traditional sort of 20th century envisioned massive vessels of war that are incredibly expensive to build and remarkably easy to sink, apparently, with small, inexpensive, expendable, properly armed, autonomous craft. This is a reality that we are hopeful that our Navy can embrace, and we think that it would be quite effective in pushing against the momentum that China has established with its shipbuilding, which is important to note, it greatly outpaces American shipbuilding. We believe that, I believe that we can build a force that is so overwhelmingly daunting to the vessels that China has constructed. We think we can further secure the world, including the Indo-Pacific region. Captain Cooper, same question, but for the Coast Guard. What role would smaller, less expensive, autonomous vessels play for the Coast Guard?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Congressman. So the Coast Guard has written an unmanned system strategy. In my opinion, it needs to be implemented much more quickly. If you look at the Indo-Pacific, similar to what Captain Sadler is saying, I think that there's a lot of potential to include unmanned systems to help with the maritime domain awareness specifically. Also, a lot of those partner nations are fairly weak in their maritime capability and not as don't have as much funding as the United States. And so these cheaper systems would be useful in allowing those countries to actually use them for maritime domain awareness and to be able to control their own sovereign waters.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, those are my additional questions. I yield.